never see it.
I will see it. I'll notice it.
You're never gonna watch it.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, liar.
We're gonna put a little Easter egg in there, are you? Just to see if I notice.
You are not gonna watch
I'm
this
gonna
at all.
watch it. I'll watch it. Maybe.
This may end up in the video.
Get busy. It's not my fault.
Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Welcome to Bad at Board Games.
Well, he's bad at board games.
I'm Bradley.
And I'm Aura.
We're bad at board games, so you don't have to be. And today, we're European.
So very European. We're very classy today.
Classy. All kinds of class in this place. We are going to be talking about Caper Europe. This is a new game to us, and wow, it's come out rolling.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, so the theme, if you're not familiar with it, this is a sequel to another game, Caper. So this is just the European version, but you are putting a group of thieves together to go and rob, artwork and diamonds and ancient Egypt. And you have places like the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower that you're trying to go and steal things from. So, it sets up this fun, it's a theme I like. I like those kind of movies. I like those kind of books. So, once you get into that kind of thing, I'm like, I want to play it. So this is a 2-player game from Keymaster. And this is, I'm going to forget the name, Uno, Rubio, and Josh. Forgot his last name already. We'll come back. Josh, I have it. I have it listed. Josh, I'm so sorry. Josh Emmerich is the artist, and I really like the art of this.
Yeah, the art is fantastic. I'm a big fan of that. All these little characters, they have their own personality. They're, holding drinks, holding cards. They've got flair to them. I like their exaggerated features. Cruella DeVille with an eye patch of all things. She's classy, yet very scary at the same time. Just a little frightening. All of them are great. I mean, every single one of them has their own personality. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very colorful.
Yep, and I think the style is very clean. Even if you look at the box art and the rule book.
Oh yeah, the rule book's it's got a good feel to it too. It's like nice thick paper. It's got a little bit of a linen texture to it. Mm-hmm. Very well designed.
Yeah, I think the design just throughout is very well done.
Yes, very well done. And these guys are made of wood. They're nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you have the
with the little trays. They're felt.
Game trays.
Yeah,
God, she said trays. My brain broke.
Yeah.
So the game trays, I really like those. Those are amazing. So let's get into a little bit of the mechanics of this. So this is a drafting 2-player game. You are going to play this over 6 rounds. Every other round, you're drafting from a different pile. So round 1, you're doing thieves. Round 2, you're going to be doing gear. And it's also a push and pull tug of war game going on within this dice drafting game. So you have 3 different areas that you're trying to steal items from. And the items are here. And you are going to be getting victory points to win at the end of the game, and you can combo those things. So you've got all those different mechanics kind of working together. And you want to talk about how you play this game so far?
Well, one of the things I really like about it is that you can do different strategies. I mean, there's the obvious, I'm going to come in with my villain, and I'm going to pick the one that moves the most amount of times and does the pull, towards, and going after the obvious, I'm going to get this here. You can play a little bit longer game of, I want to focus on trying to get victory points at the end. I'm going to get this guy because he's got lots of stars at the top that you have to earn. And it's not going to move this very much, so it's not going to work towards that. You can get these guys that, have the little question marks, so they're more focused on stealing these, and these are victory points at the end. Just a lot of different ways. You can take this one here, and when you set down another green, it chains and you're able to do more things. Here's the thing though, as much as you can plan out your strategy in the beginning, it can get completely blown out of the water because you don't know what cards your opponent's going to pick. In between, when you hand them your hand and they decide to pick something, and you don't know what's going to come up in the next round with that next deal of cards, that next, the tools that you're going to have that are going to play off of it, the next villain that's going to come out at the end. So as much as you can plan a strategy, a lot of it's just thinking on your feet and being like, okay, that didn't work out. What's my new strategy? That's what I love so much about this game. Endless possibilities.
Yep. And so one of the things I like to talk about is the setup. Game trays make setup easy. It's not a very big game. It's not a giant big box game. 2 players. This is about a 20 to 40 minute game. And I'd say our first game took maybe 30. It still didn't take that long.
A lot of it was us reading instructions.
Yeah. And then I would say we're pumping this thing out in about 20 minutes now. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. And there's going to be variability in this, not because just the strategy she's talking about, but you get different cities. So you start out with Paris, and that's easier, and it doesn't have as much chaining. And then there's 4 other cities you have in here, and you're not going to see all the cards. So you're not going to see all the places you can steal. And if you want different levels of complexity and different levels of scoring, I think there's a lot of depth here, and it's going to keep you entertained. Doesn't mean I don't want like the expansion already, but like, there is more here, and it's easy to set up, easy to get to the table, and it's a filler game as well, and it doesn't feel like a filler game
because it doesn't take that long to set it up. It doesn't, and it does play fairly quickly. And I don't think that we're at a point where we're ready for an expansion yet, which is really exciting because there's so much more that we can still do here before we're ready to take that next step.
Exactly.
I'm excited by that. And I think even if you did play this a lot of times, because of that unpredictability of things coming out, I think it would take a while before we get bored of this one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you want to talk a little bit about our game today?
Oh, yeah. So I'm very competitive.
Oh, a lot of swear words.
Yeah, a lot of swear words. Some of that has to do with, not particularly understanding all of the rules and us kind of going back and forth a little bit and me getting frustrated with, I should have done this and I should have done that. And I'm like, so yeah, you get a little bit spirited in if you happen to be a competitive person, if you happen to be a sore loser or a sore winner,
So I should preface this. This is a take that game. It has a lot of the feel of take that. Not everything, but with that drafting mechanic going back and forth, and then your opponent literally getting the one you're
the
up
card
against.
that you wanted. And
yeah,
it's not like you can't take ownership
it's not like there's
of
7
anything.
people and 7 wonders where you're drafting and somebody across the table got the one you wanted. It's literally the opponent is getting the card that you're like, I want all of these and I can't.
And sometimes you're picking a card because you know that other card is going to really screw the other person. And so sometimes that can be like, oh, you just did that to mess me up.
Yeah,
so
we call that hate drafting.
Yeah, hate drafting. So if you're playing with someone who's very competitive and gets very, intense about things, just know that going in that it could end badly. But
well, not badly, but
it could.
it's still fun.
It can cause some conflict. You just want to know the people that you're playing with, and as much as I go back and forth and I do that intensity, it's all in good fun, and we're always laughing. 15 seconds later, but there are a few swear words going around.
Especially when she messes up.
Yeah, I get very upset with myself when I mess up, especially when it's something obvious and he doesn't let me take it back.
Yeah. After the first couple, no takes back.
I'm like, wait a minute, I should have put it there. Can I take it back? You haven't started yet. And he's like, nope, you put your card down. That's where you're at. So, which is good that he holds me to those rules because I really should follow them.
There you go. So we've talked a little bit about the mechanics. We've talked a little bit about our gameplay. I really enjoyed the back and forth. I like that drafting mechanic because it takes some of that, you got all the great cards and I got all the crappy cards. Because there is that randomness.
Yeah, I just got bad cards.
Yeah, and this is a game that you can't
say that.
You could lose quickly if it were like, right? It would just be like, well,
because there have been times where
garbage.
I'm like, this is the best hand.
Yeah,
here.
and I'm sitting there, I'm like, mine aren't that great. When I see hers, I'm like, oh yeah, now I see why yours is the best hand. If she had all that, I would lose completely. The one downside I would say to this game is scoring at the end.
Oh yeah.
So the game play is fun. This back and forth that you're playing.
The scoring's confusing.
The scoring gets a little bit difficult, and it's because you score the place that you're stealing from. You score these tiles, and the more tiles you have and the more sets you have, it's not one per tile, right? It gets more if you have more sets. And then if you got this little caper guy all the way down here, there's a couple more stars for that. And then there's some bonuses for these cards that you have. And if you pick this guy and he's got the purple cards,
then it creates a chain and
it creates a chain of other, like,
and so it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, so you will get there, but just realize that, like, scoring this at the end is the least part, the lowest.
Fun.
Yeah, so if you're gonna, like,
but then also with that, you don't really know who's won
Yeah,
until you, like, it's not obvious.
Mhm.
And I thought the first time playing it, I was under the assumption that you had to, get your guy over here and do the pull and win this to get any of the points here. So
Right.
I was frustrated because I was like, well, I'm gonna lose.
Even if
know?
you lose even if you don't win the tug of war in a section, doesn't mean
That's
you've lost.
just a small part of it. So it might look like I might get all 3 of these. Who knows?
Well, that would probably win you.
I don't think it would, actually. I don't know that it would. I think there's a possibility if you got all of these, because if you think about it, especially, some of these don't have 5 victory points. Some of them only have like 3 or 4.
Right.
So I think there could be a scenario you could win all of it that way, and it could look obvious. But, when you're taking into consideration the goods that you're stealing, the extra little victory points here, the little bonuses of the +2 and the +2, and they chain off of each other. It wouldn't be obvious.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the downside. So that's a 90% upside. Trying to score the game at the end when the game's over. That's the downside. But it does
But
not
it keeps
take
it
away.
interesting.
Yeah, it does
It
not
keeps it
take away
interesting.
from the game at all.
No,
in any
not
way,
at all.
shape, or form. So all of that said, where does this land for you?
So right now, currently, and I think it's because it's still so new for me with, like, I'm excited about it. I think I'll be excited about it for a while because there's so much to explore with it. It's right there in my top. I mean, like, it's a 9 for me. It's,
Wow.
yeah.
Really?
I'm liking
Thanks,
it.
man.
I'm
Wow.
liking it. You would never know by how much I was cursing earlier,
You have
right?
a lot of curse words.
Yeah. But early in this whole process with this game, he was like, "Oh no, she doesn't like it." It wasn't frustration with the game; it was frustration with myself. So, yeah.
I'm probably at an 8, maybe an 8.5, probably an 8. One of the ways I score games is the experience I had, and I enjoy this experience, right? But the better the experience, the more it made me feel like I'm in a movie, Star Wars, Alien, whatever. Like those are like my 9s and 10s and things like that. And so this is right up there. I want to bring this to the table. That is always a factor. This is a quick game to get out, and it's a quick game to play, and it's got a lot of depth and strategy. So as tedious as the scoring might be at the end, that'll just come faster and faster. But because of that scoring, there's a lot of different ways to win.
Yeah.
At least that's how it feels, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. That excites me. I think that's that part of it, the unpredictability and the many options for many strategies, that hits that sweet spot for me. That's what I'm looking for, is like how many strategies can I come up with? So
excellent. So you can tell we love this game. We hope you enjoy this game. If you have any comments about it, have you played the previous version of Caper? Have you played this one? Have you played it with your significant other? And have you guys yelled at each other?
have there been any breakups, severance of relationships over this game?
Comment down below. If you like R and I talking, we've got a couple links up here where we talk about our top 10 games that we play as a couple. So maybe not the top 10 couples games of all time, because we may be a little bit different than you.
Yeah.
But if you like to try to find some things for you and your significant other,
great 2-player things.
click up here.
Things
Good
that work
2-player
well.
stuff. Yeah, it could even just be you and your friend. Doesn't have to be a couple. Thank you very much. Subscribe. We're starting to get up there. We're getting close to 400. Like to get to 500. Like to get to 1,000. Like get 40,000. Let's be honest. Let's get all the way up there. Let's have some fun with it.
Shoot for the stars.
Hopefully you see that we enjoy it. We enjoy game boards, board games, game boards.
Games of boards.
We need games of boards. So hopefully you enjoy watching us talk. Me and Toph will be doing another top 10 list here soon. It's either going to be the games we're worst at, or we'll find another list. I'm sure we can find something. Top 10 games Toph beats me at, maybe.
He beats you at all of them. He beats me at all of them.
I have video proof. I win every once in a while.
Every once in a while. I do like when I beat him in a game and I get to message him and be like, guess who beat your high score?
Yeah, she beats his high score and texts him.
Once in a while. Once in a while I beat him.
immediately.
He is a better gameplay, I have to admit. He is better at all games.
He does pretty good. Thank you again. Please subscribe. Have a great night.
Good night.